0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Lining up, Adrian double, and here it comes. Over the kick, connects.
Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another episode of Game Day. Today, we aren't covering the Eagles. As always, the Eagles are saved for Tuesday. But today, we are covering the continuation of Red October as the Philadelphia Phillies have moved on to the NLCS, beating the Braves 3-1. And what a time to be a Phillies fan, man. From looking like we were like, man, are we even going to make the wild card to, here we are, man. NLCS going against the Padres, who, beat the Dodgers as well. That was a pretty crazy thing to see, but it's crazy to just think about how far this team has been essentially utilizing their opportunities, beating the Cardinals in the wild card, finally getting past the Braves in the second round, now moving on against the Padres tomorrow. It's absolutely insane to think about, sitting here as a Phillies fan that just, it didn't look like we were even going to make the wild card, I mean, thankfully, I think it was Milwaukee who ended up having that collapse, and it allowed for us to get in, if I look correctly at the standings. Yeah, I believe, let me see. Yeah, it was Milwaukee that completely collapsed. Probably worse than we did. Let's see. We had the same record essentially in our last 10 games, but thankfully we had one more win over them, slid into the playoffs, and it's just tough to really come up with words for it, but it was just, in a sense, we're so happy to see that that not only did they make it, but now here we are, NLCS, and like I said, they've been making the very best of their opportunities, and it's really just no words really, and getting into the game breakdowns. Game 1 heading into Atlanta, everyone's like, if we can at least sneak one game in Atlanta, bring it back home to Philly, we can take this, because everyone was like, the Philly atmosphere is gonna be like no other, because it's been 11 years since there was a playoff game last in for baseball, Philadelphia and Citizen Bank Arena. No, Citizen Bank Arena is the Sixers. No, that's Wells. Oh yeah, no, it is Citizen Bank. Yeah, so that was just the motto: take one game in Atlanta, bring it home to Philly, and that fan base will rock the Braves so hard that, it'll rock them so hard that it'll give them enough momentum to potentially take the series from them. And game 1, what did they do? It was a very close game, 7-6, but it was basically off the back of Nick Castellanos. I know a lot of us were saying, kind of disappointed in his play, especially myself. He comes out this game, 3 hits for 3 RBIs. Bryce Harper obviously had three hits as well. Alec Bohm, 1 hit, 2 RBIs. Gene Segura, 2 hits, 1 RBI. And then all the runs that came in. I'm trying to remember the play-by-play of this all. Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. No, I don't think it was this game where the runs went crazy. But yeah, they played really well. Beat them 7-6. Obviously things got close, so they went up. Let's see, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, they went up 7-3 in the 5th, and in the 6th, 7th, and 8th were completely scoreless. And then next thing you know, in the 9th, the Braves scored 3 runs, and you're sitting there like, don't do this to us, Phillies. Don't do this. 7-6. But they come away with it, and everyone's like, okay, we took a game in Atlanta. We can do this. Let's try our best to take another game in Atlanta, But sadly, game 2 comes, and this one, despite the dueling that was going around, especially with the pitching, it's just not enough. They went 6 innings, with the Phillies not hitting well, the Braves not hitting well, until finally the 6th inning comes around, and next thing you know, boom, 3 runs are scored in that inning. Then the rest of the innings, no scores, and it's 3-0. A real tough loss. We were holding them out for the most part, and then that 6th inning really came back to bite us. Matt Olson is an absolute menace. Anytime he went up to bat, I was just, in a sense, shaking in my boots, just like, dang, man, this guy, you never know with him. He can just hit it out the park out of nowhere, and he a lot of times throughout the series, he was hitting those home runs, and, like, to me, it was like, at the worst possible time for, like, a Philly fan. Obviously, I was like, man, this guy's just crazy. But then we get to Game 3, first postseason game in 11 years, back in Philadelphia, and they showed out for the crowd. 9-1 against the Braves. 6 runs in the 3rd inning, 3 in the 7th, and Atlanta gets their sole run in the 6th. Complete masterclass of a game. Rhys Hoskins, people, again, another player that after Castellanos had his, sort of return to form game, everyone was like, man, Rhys Hoskins and Kyle Schwarber have not been good. They were like, I think, was it heading into this game? I think heading into this game, they were combined, like, was it like one of, I don't think it was 18. I remember they showed the graphic, but it was like they were doing terrible. And what happens? Rhys Hoskins comes in, 1 hit and getting a run in, but 3 RBIs and 1 home run from him. Absolute crazy game from him. JT, Schwarber also having hits. Bryce Harper obviously having his 2 hits, 3 RBIs. Nick Castellanos, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Bryce Harper also had the home run as well. And it was just a crazy game to watch as well, man. You were just like, man, these guys are swinging for the fences, there. The other thing they were doing really well was just getting these good, they were getting real good, and it was kind of the whole point of, like, or not the whole point, but, like, it was the something that you just noticed the entire time throughout the series was just how well they were at not getting the home runs, but getting hits that allowed people to, score. Like, Stott hit a double into the deep right, and it allowed Brandon Marsh to score. And then Hoskins comes in afterwards and hits a home run, obviously, to get that run in. And then Harper gets the home run for him and JT to score. But then, you look at in the bottom of the 7th, Harper hits a double, and that allows both Matt Vierling and Real Muto to score. Castellanos singles to right center field. Real Muto went to 3rd and then scores when Castellanos singles it to right center, and it also allows Bryce Harper to score. They were really good at these hits where it was enough to allow these guys to score and prevent any outs from happening. And it was just real amazing to see, real good, entertaining game. And then we get down to the final game. Phillies up 2-1, have potential here to close out the series 3-1. They come in, and the crazy thing was just kind of how both teams were really switching up the pitching staff for this game. They were like, gotta change it up in a sense. Like, if someone's showing like signs of slowing down, be quick to change them out. To clinch the series, for the Braves to try and save the series. But it wasn't enough in this game because they came out and hit pretty well too. In total, in this game, the Phillies had 13 hits and they had 8 runs. The game was finished 8-3. 3 runs in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 3 in the 6th, 1 in the 8th. And the 1 in the 8th was really like the dagger, if you want to call it. But, Matt Schwarber, oh my God, sorry, it's because him and Vierling are right next to her. Kyle Schwarber has still kind of been struggling a bit, obviously. JT and Hoskins and Harper, the main consistent ones from this game. Hoskins, 2 hits, 1 RBI. JT Realmuto, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a home run. That in-park home run was probably one of the craziest Yeah, I would say, yeah, one of the craziest plays I've seen in baseball, and it was just so amazing to watch as you saw it, and you're like, oh no, he's gonna go and catch that ball, isn't he? And then it bounces, keeps rolling away from the guys, and you just see JT rounding those bases, just going supersonic speed to try and get it in, and he slides in and gets it. It was amazing to see. Bryce Harper, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a home run as always. And then Brandon Marsh, of course, 2 hits, 3 RBIs, and the 1 home run that he had. That was just an absolute beauty to see. Absolutely loved getting that guy in a trade, Just insane value, really. Like, he has been absolutely a key piece, especially in these playoffs for the Phillies. He's just been, in a sense, like I would say he's been really consistent, like he's just been so good for us, and I'm just so glad that we have this guy with us, obviously, and all these players, man, even the ones that are having cold streaks, I guess, if you want to say, and have just really been struggling. It's like it's so good to just see them, out here doing their best, especially for this Philly franchise, and of course, the one thing you have to appreciate the most with these guys is that they're taking the criticism and they aren't complaining, Nick Castellanos basically heard the criticisms, and finally had his return to form in like 2 of these games of the series. Like I said, Schwarber's still struggling, but I have no doubts that he'll have a game where he returns to form, Rhys Hoskins was getting dogged on, getting called washed, and all that. Did he ever complain or anything? Nope. Just went out, tried his best to show out and return to that form, and he does. Looking at the start of this season, Alec Bohm caught a lot of flack for the way he was playing, but as he continued to get playing time, he just improved and improved, and now is a contributing piece on this team. And it's just so good to see this team just being successful despite the fact that, they were a wild card team and now they're in the NLCS with, going against a Padres team that, speaking to friends that know more about baseball than I, have said that it was probably the best bet for us. That, even though it would have been nice for the Dodgers to advance, because then you get the Phillies coming to LA, and that means I could watch a game or two if the prices weren't, crazy. But my friend was telling me, other than that, your best bet is obviously going to be with the Padres, because in his eyes, they just have especially less depth than that Dodgers squad, but the Padres pulled through, and it's, going to be an interesting series. Can the Phillies keep it up, You got to be able to keep up these hot streaks and not get into cold streaks like Game 2 against Atlanta. You want to avoid games like that where, the pitching does well at holding them until like a certain point, because, the pitching can only hold off for so long. And, that's the kind of thing is like you got to be able to get going before the pitching starts declining, And so Padres series is definitely going to be interesting. It starts tomorrow. It'll be finished by... Will it be? I think it will be finished by the next episode I record if it doesn't go long. I know the Guardians and the Yankees are still going right now. Their game is today, I believe, so it's going to be a real interesting thing to see. But going to be supporting my Phillies, whether they win or lose. I'm happy to see Red October continue. Can't wait to cover my Eagles and what went down yesterday, tomorrow. But until then, as always, folks, thank you all for joining for another episode of Game Day. And as always, remember, many things in this life may seem impossible, but if you fight for your dreams will fight for you.